Or I'm not sure if the speaker had signed up, or do we need a vote on this? Madam Secretary?
Through the chair,
Yes.
you will need a vote for the
Thank you
additional
very much.
speaker.
Thank you so much. I need a motion for Elizabeth Perdomo. For those in favor say aye. For those say nay. Elizabeth Perdomo. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. I'm here today to plead for your help. At the October Superintendent's Town Hall meeting on the topic of Referendum 362, specifically security, I asked 2 questions that were not read or answered. One of my questions was involving the security of students, specifically about an attack of 2 minors that occurred on the campus of FIU Biscayne Bay campus, where MAST at FIU is housed. As of today, this question asked 4 weeks ago has not been brought to any conclusion, either positive or negative. On September 10th, my daughter Bella, the young lady who comes to speak in front of the board on behalf of students in our county, and who has brought this county many accolades, was viciously and repeatedly assaulted, almost sexually assaulted, knocked out, and left for dead. She was on campus for a dual enrollment class review and a meeting with her high school internship supervisor. In between these 2 responsibilities, she had about 20 minutes to waste, and she and another classmate walked over to the bay to observe the many species that they have been learning about in class. An unidentified and unknown male came upon them and immediately knocked out her classmate by striking him in the back of the head with a large, heavy object. He became unconscious instantly, but the maniac continued to strike him, even as my daughter begged him to stop. He then demanded that my daughter remove her clothing with the obvious intent of raping her. When he tired of negotiating with her, or when something spooked him, he bludgeoned her repeatedly until the point of unconsciousness. She received multiple skull, hand, and facial fractures.
Point of order, Madam Chair, if I may, just for clarification. I'm listening to this story, ma'am. No, definitely empathetic, and I'm listening. I just need some legal and some guidance and clarification around this issue from our attorney relative to the school board's role. I'm not clear on it. If you're listening, as we often say to the listening public, I just want some context if there is any to be provided by the attorney.
Sorry.
Yes, through the chair. As you know, generally our policies are that speakers have a right to come and speak and address the board regarding most matters, unless there's a specific issue or complaint or something that or an employee that they're specifically addressing. Generally, they're allowed to address matters affecting the district. I just want to typically, I would put, this is a new speaker that just walked up. Typically, I would definitely put her in the legal alert, but I'd just like to leave it at that. But again, reminding the board that speakers do have a right to speak, so she's here, I think, to address the board. She has 57 seconds, and right now, I think she's within the confines of the board's policy.
Thank you.
Just a follow-up question, Madam Chair. Doesn't the board policy to some extent speaks to the relationship of the issue relative to the school district? Through the chair.
I'm sorry, I'm confused.
The speaker's issue usually has a nexus to the school district, and what I'm reading, I'm just not clear on it. Does it have one, or this is the context for it? I'm looking at.
I think I can answer it through the chair. I think I understand it, and I think our chief may shed additional clarity. I know and I think we've all expressed a great deal of sadness over the awful incident that took place at Florida International University on the non-school day, and the issue is.
Can I finish my speech before you respond about what I'm saying?
I'm answering a board member's question. So as soon as I'm done, since the chair gave the board member the floor, the board member asked me a question, so I'm responsible for answering it. The issue is being investigated by Florida International University as a lead agency with the support of Miami-Dade County Public Schools Police. We have done what we can under the guidance that's been provided to us, inclusive of social media. I've spoken with, and my heart is 100% with this family and during their time of grief. Has requested that a flyer be sent out via our email system to the employees in the hopes of securing leads. TV has done it. This is an issue, as the chief can tell you, where we defer to the police on the appropriateness and timing of doing so. And that call has not been made to us. Secondarily, if I just may, there are many violent crimes that happen in our community impacting our children. And that's something that is taken into consideration regarding the actions that are taken by the school system. So I don't know if the chief, after the speaker, with the board's consent, can chime in on this, but we follow the lead of the investigative agency in this issue, and really this is about as much as I can say about the matter.
Madam Chair, thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Based on my sidebar with the attorney, which I'm sure he'll share with the board members, he said had he been privy to this issue, he would have issued a legal alert, so I'm satisfied not to say or ask anything else. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Well, I believe that this request was given to staff earlier on this afternoon. So this is something that may not have been in the list, but it was something that was distributed or given to me and to the vice chair by staff. So this is nothing like a person walk in at the last minute. No, I've had this name here since the meeting, very early on in the meeting. So I just wanted to put that on the record too. Yes, ma'am.
May I continue?
Before she goes on.
Yes.
I like everyone else, my heart goes out to this mom. I am bothered by the fact that we are having a conversation. She was reading to us about her daughter. Her daughter is our student. The least we could do is it has been broken up. The effect of us having her heart done is been changed. For me, I would love for you to start all over, but I don't have that authority. But I will tell you this, we shouldn't have stopped you. In my opinion, this is a Larry only, I'm not an attorney. And for me, I apologize.
Thank you. May I continue?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I believe the attorney indicated to us that it was perfectly fine for you to continue.
He bludgeoned her repeatedly until the point of unconsciousness. She received multiple skull, hand, and facial fractures, loss of vision and hearing, cognitive distortions, and had to spend several days in the ICU. 2 months later, she still has not regained full usage of her fingers, continues to require accommodations for cognitive skills, and has permanently lost some of her hearing in one ear. The crazed individual who did this to her is freely roaming the streets, preying on his next victims, who may not live to tell their story. Many saw this news but I come to find out many didn't. An overwhelming amount of people do not watch the news or participate in social media. This artistic rendering of the person Bella describes as her attacker was created by a sketch artist from the Criminal Investigative Unit of the Metro-Dade Police Department. This is nothing more than a piece of art. It is not a photograph of a minor or anyone else for that matter. It does not have a copyright. It can be shared anywhere and with anybody through any means. On that dreadful night that our hearts dropped at the possibility of losing our precious child, the superintendent graciously called and extended his concern and wishes for Bella's full and quick recovery. He also stated that he was offering any support Miami-Dade County Public Schools could to help with the investigation and to let him know if there was anything else he could do. Mr. Carvalho, Thank you for the call and for the offer. It does mean so much to us. There is something more you can do personally to help with this investigation. Please share this sketch with all the employees in the school system. This can easily be done through an email like it was done at my husband's employment. A teacher or other staff member may recognize this heinous individual. Trust me, as a teacher myself, I would not forget a student with such violent tendencies. Board members, I receive emails from you all the time with pictures of great things happening in your districts, even though they're not my districts. Please share this artistic rendering through mass email just the same. How can he be caught and our kids be kept safe if teachers don't even know about him? Please help us restore our lives by sharing this sketch, which could potentially bring this person to justice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Carpenter?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to choose my words carefully because of what Mr. Harvey said would otherwise be a speaker on a speaker alert typically. But what I want to say is, and I saw her daughter in the terrible state that she was in. She's been making this request for some time. And at some point off the dais, I need some understanding from whatever is permitted to be told to me. When somebody keeps making the request, I think is what she said, she just wants to know one way or the other. To me, I don't want to say anything that is going to create an issue, but here's a parent that asked the district a question. And if what she said now is accurate, she still hasn't received an answer. Now, this incident took place in early September. We're right up against Thanksgiving. I need help in understanding when the parent will receive an answer. She said one way or the other. So I don't know if anybody can answer that, but I will not say any more, but that's what the parent has asked, for an answer one way or the other.
Through the chair, our chief of police will speak with the parent.
I'm sorry, Mr. Superintendent, I didn't hear the last part.
That's okay. I said our chief of police will speak with the parent.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Garcia.
I'm sorry, I don't have a name, I just spelled
Perdomo.
Ms. Perdomo. Thank you so much for coming here. My heart was breaking when you were speaking, as Dr. Feldman was saying, and I also apologize. I'm so sorry that you got interrupted while you were pouring your heart out to us. As a parent, I think a lot of us feel the same way, even everyone that's listening. This is not something that's easy for you to do, come here and speak about what was done to your daughter. I'm adhering to what the administration says, and as a board member, one of the things that you mentioned was that we can possibly distribute this out through our, as a board member. I wanted to know, Mr. Harvey, is that something that I can do as a board member through my emails?
Yes, through the chair. I'm sorry, I didn't get the question.
The question is, can I distribute a flyer like this or this one through my email as a board member? Through my email distribution?
Through the chair, maybe we should speak to the chief about that, if you don't mind.
Thank you. I'd like a response, and it doesn't have to be right this moment, but we'd like to respond by tomorrow. Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am, and I'm sorry again for what you've gone through and for what your daughter has gone through. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you. Yes, Dr. Gallo.
Yes, through the chair, and I too apologize for the interruption that was made by me, initiated in terms of a point of order for clarification. With respect to what we can and can't do, I'm interested as well. I have a very massive distribution list, and I'm actually in District 1, so I'm in that close proximity of that area. I will be willing to do that unless there are any preclusions from me doing it, which I don't think it is, because it's my distribution list outside of the district, so I'll be interested in receiving that. But I do have a question relative to these types of notifications, because we as a school system often receive sexual predator notifications that are actually placed in schools. So that is something that, Mr. Attorney, I would be interested in seeing the distinction between something like this versus the sexual predator notifications pursuant to statute that are given. And then sometimes local police municipalities do provide information to various schools and ask for help. I can bifurcate the issue that would have come through a legal alert, but I can't bifurcate the obligation that I may have as a human being and as a citizen to render some help. And I can segregate the two. So I will be available unless I'm told emphatically otherwise, which I probably won't because it's my distribution list, to facilitate that communication on the northern side in close proximity to District 1. But also wait for the information that was asked by Ms. Castillo, by the attorney, but also, Mr. Attorney, to clarify the distinction between what we do often with the sexual predator notification. So if you walk into schools, you see those just posted up in various sections for sexual predators who have been identified. And if there's something distinct from this, I would be interested in to know what that distinction is that would lead to such a similar conclusion. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir. Alvaro?
Thank you. What I would like to tell Ms. Perdomo is, please share with Isabela how much we love her, how much we have been praying for her, how much, as a parent, that night when I saw the name, I remembered the girl who we know so bright that comes to speak to us, who in May was here asking budget questions with the help of Mr. Seibert for her class project. So tell her we love her, that we're praying for her, that we're here as a community together, supporting you as you go through this unfortunate incident in your lives. The other question I have for our chief is, did Miami-Dade County post this in their social media where we could share? Because we all have social media. If the police department who issued this, I could just go on their website, find this, and share it.
Through the chair, it was not only shared, but it was posted and reposted on FIU-PD's social media. They're the lead investigating agency. We are the support agency. We are involved with them, but we can always be mindful that we need to verify the in the case and make sure that any proactive, good-spirited act on our end doesn't jeopardize an active investigation.
Thank you, Chief.
That's it. Nobody. Thank you, Ms. Thank you, Ms. Perdomo, for coming here today. Thank you. I think we've exhausted the public speakers. We're going to board members' announcements.